Thank you. I'm here. My name is Paul Rainwater. I'm part of the Interim Emergency Management Team for the Sewage and Water Board. I'm joined by Marcia Broussard with our Department of Health and Aaron Miller, part of our Director of our Emergency Operations Team. Today at 7:25, Turbine 6 at the Sewage and Water Board Carrollton Water Plant went offline, causing a temporary loss of 60 cycle power, which resulted in a loss of water pressure across the east bank of New Orleans. At 7:45 a.m., Sewage and Water Board staff was able to bring online Entergy power, and water pressure was restored throughout the East Bank water system. As a result of this power interruption, water pressure dropped below 15 psi at other gauges throughout the East Bank of New Orleans. The subsequent readings triggered the need for a precautionary boil water advisory to be called for the East Bank of New Orleans, including New Orleans East and the lower 9th Ward. The cause of the power outage is under investigation. At this time, Turbine 6 remains down. We're also investigating why steam pumps A and B did not keep pressure above the 15 psi threshold. Sewage and Water Board staff have begun to collect water samples across the East Bank. Residents on the East Bank are advised by the State Department of Health not to use tap water to drink, make ice, or brush teeth until further notice. Residents in the affected area that are immune compromised are advised not to wash hands, shower, or bath using this water. The precautionary boil water advisory will remain in effect until further notice. Sewage and Water Board will notify residents as soon as the advisory is lifted. If you have further questions, you can call 52-WATER or 529-2837. At this time, part of the Sewage and Water Board's $50 million FEMA-funded water hammer hazard mitigation project, the 200-foot tall water towers that you see out being constructed are under construction at the Carrollton Water Plant. In the event of a complete power loss like we experienced this morning, these towers will provide uninterrupted water pressure and continuous water service to the city. Once complete, the infrastructure investment will make the city's water supply in this facility more resilient and to help mitigate any other future boil water advisories. The first water hammer tower will be available in late 2018. I'm going to turn it over to Marcia Broussard now.
Thank you, Paul. Good morning, everyone. Just want to reiterate a few more tips about how to stay safe during a boil water advisory. Essentially, you want to drink bottled water or boil water. You want to brush your teeth. If you are mixing baby formula, you want to use boiled water or bottled water. If you're a healthy adult, it's okay to bathe in tap water, but if you have immune compromise, you may want to use a boiled water for bathing. And if you have open wounds, you may want to use boiled water. As it relates to infants, you may want to give them a sponge bath during this time. Boiled water, is important to boil the water in a container and make sure that the bubbles are coming up from the bottom all the way to the top. And when it starts to boil at that level, you boil for a minute. And once you have boiled the water, you can put it in a clean, dry container so that you can use it as needed. Are there any other questions?
Yeah, could you tell us where in the city they detected the PSI dropping below 15?
So at the main Carrollton plant, we never dropped below 20. That we have 15 gauges in the East Bank of New Orleans. We detected some variations there below the 15 psi.
Would that be out like, are we talking like Venetian Isles, or are we talking like
throughout?
Travers, people are getting frustrated, obviously, as I'm sure you're well aware of. I hate to ask this, but is it becoming just a comedy of errors when you guys are trying to fix the problems inside the area?
So, I mean, we don't see this as a comedy. We see it very seriously. Obviously, the folks out at the power plant work 24/7. We have contractors working 24/7 to repair Turbine 3, to work on Turbine 4. Obviously, Turbine 6 is a new generator. We're having an investigation done right now to figure out what exactly happened. We're also looking at some other power generation redundancy on those pumps so that we can provide a backup. But remember, within 20 minutes or so, we were on Entergy power. So the team worked very quickly. I mean, they followed the protocols to the T. From an emergency response perspective, they did exactly what they were supposed to do. Within a minute of the event occurring, we were notified. The mayor was notified. We began talking through solutions. Within 20 minutes, we were back on 60 cycle power provided by Entergy. Obviously, some of the equipment out here is old, and so we're going to continue to work through those issues as quickly as possible. People are working on power generation and pump issues 24/7, trying to figure out the best method forward for the city. And we think that we're making progress on that. Obviously, you can look at out at the plant, you can see 5 EMDs that are being set up. That will provide a level of redundancy. And then obviously the work on T3 that's occurring right now. So, but the team that responded this morning did a good job of responding. And obviously we're going to look at what happened to T6. It is one of the newer generators out here, and it tripped and went out of service. And so we're going to look at what those issues were and then try to figure out a way to prevent that from happening again.
Hey, Katie.
I have not had a report of a loud bang as of yet, unlike Turbine 4, where we knew it within a few minutes that something had happened. As it was reported to me, that Turbine 6 went down, it tripped. We don't know what the cause of that was yet. And so we're doing a root cause analysis. I'm going to know that by the end of today. We've got several follow-up meetings with the team, one that's leading the investigation, two, the team that was there and involved in it. So we'll have a number of meetings to get down to the root cause and provide as much transparency as we know it to you as soon as we find out. We're not sure of that yet. We're not sure of that yet, and I don't want to speculate because there are usually in these particular instances, it's not just one thing. There are several things that lead to it, and so we're working through that right now. But we will provide that information to you as soon as we find it out. It was done within 20 minutes. And then that is, as I understand it, the regular protocols that we go through. Obviously, as we work through power issues, that's one of the things that we're trying to address, is to make sure, one, that your redundancy systems kick in a lot quicker, or the automatic. Those are things that aren't here yet. And those are things that the mayor's been addressing since he's been in office. So as we've said, there are a number of projects going on. We're providing information back to the mayor on a very regular basis about what happened. We'll be doing some meetings with the team at 2 o'clock and at 4 o'clock to figure out what happened. We'll put a plan together, figure out what the best path forward is, and get moving on those solutions.
Yeah, for water advisories, I believe we were told that the water system is powered by Entergy as a primary source and then turbines for a backup. How long has Turbine 6 been used as a primary for the water system? Why was that changed?
As I understand, Turbine 6 has been in use for several years now as a primary, and that Entergy's been a backup. There are feeder issues with the Entergy lines, and so, but we are working on projects to address that, whether it's a substation or other redundancies within those systems.
Last one, anybody else? So how many turbines are running right now?
So you have turbine 1, and then we're utilizing frequency changers that provide megawatts at a certain level, but we're also directly feeding from Entergy itself for 60 cycle power.
So is that a concern for a rainstorm? Only one turbine is up right now?
We have 26 backup generators at different pumping stations depending on what issues are. We don't have any problems with frequency changers right now. We'll have these 5 EMDs up by October the 2nd, and so that's going to provide additional power as well.
Turbine 6 is limited in what it can do for drainage anyway. Most of it's running on
Turbine 6 is a water sewer.
Yeah, with sewer. How's the sewer system then if Turbine 6 is down?
Well, right now we're fine because we're using power directly from Entergy, which is 60 cycle power.
All right, thank y'all.
Thank you.
More later today.